In about 15 minutes, I've got a special guest, Brenda Snowman of the former Cleveland OBGYN clinic, who is now retired, and we're going to find out what she's been up to. It's going to be a great discussion.
It says it on my car, but I know it was well over 80.
Does allergies bother you, pollen or anything?
It did that until I took allergy shots for 5 years. Yeah.
Do you still take them, or
No, I
just went away?
It got better from the allergy shots, and then it never got worse, which surprises me because it's really good right now. Knock on wood somewhere, because I don't want that back.
Boy, it'll bother you. It'll really zap you of your energy.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Whenever you read a story in the newspaper or see something on television about somebody getting arrested, you naturally assume they're guilty. Unless the story's about you or someone you love, then you'll think differently. And you'll want a lawyer who will defend you. My name's Scott Canavis. If you or someone you love has been charged with a crime, call me. I'll return your phone calls, I'll work on your case, and I will defend you.
I found this site on the phone that says pollen wise, and you click on it and it'll tell you what's you put in your zip code. Like right now, tree pollen's real bad.
Yeah.
So it doesn't bother me at all. So evidently I'm not. It's got dust, grass, tree, and weed and shrubs. So evidently trees don't bother me.
That was one of my biggies, was trees.
I think mine is weeds and shrubs. I think.
Okay. So the flowering shrubs?
Yeah.
Because God knows we have a lot of those in springtime. I missed the spring here because I was in Florida.
Was you in your RV? Motorhome?
Yes, we were parked in a motorhome park in that. But while we were down there, we decided to become true snowbirds, and we bought what's called a park model, but it's like a trailer, really.
Austin Stevenson did that for years.
And the one we bought, it was, of course, fixed to the ground, and it had an addition added on that had a washer and dryer and half bath, and then a pretty big den with a queen sleep sofa. So we haven't lived in it. We bought it, and the next day, literally the next day, brought the motorhome back up here, because that's how we do things. Jimmy, that's how Jimmy does things.
Jimmy, yeah.
Fast and furious. Oh, my word.
Does he make decisions quick?
Oh, Lord, yes. What do they say about surgeons? Quick, decisive, and wrong. He's just quick and decisive. I have to okay, let's slow down and talk about this.
But his decisions aren't as critical. They're just daily stuff, right?
Yeah.
Whereas yours were critical.
Well, mine were, yeah. That's all over with, thank heavens. No more of that. Yeah, glad to be retired.
Well, before you retired, you still did a lot of traveling, didn't you? But would you prefer RV traveling?
To what?
To flying and getting a motel room and.
I really didn't do a lot of traveling when I was working. I didn't have time. So.
Because somebody was always maybe expecting for the weekend or something?
Well, it wasn't about that. It was, I had my own practice for so many years. Yes, I had midwives, but you still need a physician to cover, which meant I had to rely on Dr. Chambers to cover me. And, he was always good about it, but, it got old for him, I'm sure. And then I had other physicians for the last 4 years. And then one of them I had for 3, and I knew when her contract was up, she was going to leave. I knew that. And as soon as she gave me a notice, my other doctor gave me notice. Can't blame him. I had stopped doing deliveries when COVID hit because I had my reasons. What were they?
So 2020?
Yes.
Before COVID hit or
No,
while they were hitting?
No, when it hit in March of 2020, I decided I needed to stop being in the hospital exposed to COVID. I don't know why. Age, immunosuppression. Yeah, I was on an immunosuppressive drug and whatever. So I stopped. So it was just the 2 of them, which is not what either of them signed up for. So as soon as the second doctor gave us notice, I immediately told my entire staff, that's it, I'm retiring, we're closing the office, which is a huge move. We employed a lot of people, like 35 people.
Yeah, and I've always thought, how do you unwind this? Because like me,
Yeah.
and like you worked for years trying to build a business.
Yes.
And it's almost harder to unwind it.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Did you think it was going to be?
I felt good about unwinding it.
Was it hard was it a few years of thinking, I need to unwind this thing?
No, I made that decision as the other doctor was sitting in front of me.
So you
I was
weren't.
like, thank God, I'm retiring. I'm done.
So a week before that, you really weren't thinking?
Well, I didn't know what was going to happen. I knew she was going to give me a notice. I wasn't really expecting him to immediately give me a notice, but yet I wasn't surprised. And so I hadn't thought about that happening and making the decision to retire, but it was like no decision to make. I was happy to make it. I don't know, that was 22. I must have been 69-ish. That's old enough. Oh my God, I did my time.
What do you do with the patients how did you deal with that?
I abandoned them. And I'm sure a lot of them are still angry at me, and I can't blame them. I literally abandoned them. I looked into what it would cost to even send a postcard, and it was tens of thousands of dollars because I had so many patients. It was ridiculous, a ridiculous amount of money that I didn't want to spend, didn't have, etc. So I abandoned them. It was awful.
Well, how else could you have done it? I mean, everybody would have. The only way you could have not done it would. I think of Dr. Bird. He quit his practice, and somebody was going to. Nobody
Bird,
took.
B-Y-R-D.
Yeah.
The ENT.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I wonder how he. I call it unwinding.
I don't know. He had partners.
I think all of them quit at the same time.
No. Visor worked a while longer, and oh God, who was the third one?
McCarley? Was it McCarley, or is he already gone?
Oh, maybe it was McCarley. I don't know. They didn't all quit at the same time, I don't think. I don't know. I quit suddenly, and we shut the doors in 3 months. I had people.
Well, 3 months is not really suddenly. That's.
Well, no. I mean, and I had my staff start calling patients that were scheduled late out further than that. But they obviously didn't get to everyone, or the people that, that they left messages with never called back or didn't understand. So, but it took there was so much stuff in that office. We had put it was a huge office.
We had really just added on to that.
Yes,
What year?
Right, exactly, in 2019.
So that wasn't very long after that.
No, it wasn't. No. So the
paint wasn't dry.
No, barely. It was 5,000 plus 2,600.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, Yeah, cleaning all that stuff out and figuring out who to sell it to or just get rid of it took several weeks, but I finally got that done. And then you should have seen my house for months.
Oh, you had it all there.
No, I had some things there. Like the computers. I had these mini computers, and most of them were new because I kept my computer system really updated. If I hadn't been a doctor, I would have gone into IT because I really like it. Anyway, so I didn't want to just toss those out, just give them to anybody. Well, I sold a lot of them, and then the rest, which was about 15 of them, I ended up donating to the Boys and Girls Club. Yeah, because one of the people that was working for me still at my house collecting money was my Spanish interpreter, and her daughter and grandson worked for the Boys and Girls Club. So I donated a lot of stuff to them. And that was a good thing to do, yeah. I mean, it wasn't just the computers. It was the keyboards, the mice, the screens, et cetera, et cetera. It was like a huge, that was all sitting in my kitchen on a big...
How many years were you in Cleveland?
30.
30 years. Does it seem like yesterday?
No. I have to tell you, I don't know if, I don't know. I don't want to say it was never fun. It was a chore. I worked hard. The years that I was alone, I was on call 24/7. Well, so was Dr. Chambers, and he delivered as many or more babies as I did. But it was work. It took its toll on my health. It truly did.
How many babies do you think you...
I don't know. Dr. Chambers counted, and I never did. A lot. I don't know, and I don't want to know. I don't want to think about it, Dee.
You're done. You're done with it.
I'm done. Yeah.
Were you from Michigan?
No. I grew up in northern Maine. If this is Maine, and this is Portland, and this is Canada, I grew up here in a little town called Caribou. Believe it or not, in the motorhome park that we now live, because we bought our little trailer in the same motorhome park, and there, because they have they have a swimming pool that's enclosed, and that's what I do, I swim. And the last day we were there, there were a couple of other women in the pool, and we were just kind of exercising around, not doing anything organized. And I asked someone where they were from, and that woman was from Caribou, Maine. I kid you not. Yes.
What are the odds?
What are the odds?
I mean, weird.
And I knew there were a lot of people from Maine in that park, but and there was another guy that I did meet playing water volleyball. Nothing like old people water volleyball. Oh my good God. And that was another reason I wanted to stay there, which I didn't get to play this past year because of the health issues anyway, which I don't mind.
Was Maine cold? That's cold up there, right?
Yeah, I think.
Is it real cold?
Yeah. Well, yes.
What was the average temperature
I
be?
don't know. I don't want to
Snow?
think. Snow. A lot of snow, but a lot more snow when I was growing up. I don't think there's as much snow anymore.
Did you go over to Canada much? You were close, right?
Right, but we didn't go anywhere. No. But the snowbanks would reach the wires. Yeah,
Golly.
Yeah, but not anymore. Not so much anymore. And yes, it was very cold. It was kind of like northern Michigan. So I grew up there. I left when I was 18. I went to school at the University of Maine in Orono. I went to medical school in Boston. And then I went to Michigan for my residency where I met Jimmy.
My son, little D, or my son, he's going to take his MTech next week.
Okay.
That class test you take to decide which medical field you're going in.
MCAT,
MCAT,
okay.
yeah. So, boy, that's hard to do, isn't it?
MCATs?
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, I joke about this, but it's partly true. I made it through school because I'm a good test taker. I really don't know anything at all. I'm just a really
There
good,
is such a thing as just a good test
I'm a
taker.
good test taker. Well, I am. I'm that.
yeah.
That's me. Yeah.
So, but now you can't hardly get into. Did you know then you were going to go into being OBGYN, or did that, or
No.
did you were just going into medical?
No. I always wanted to be a doctor from the time I was 5. I don't know how to make a long story shorter, but I had heart surgery when I was 5, and it was a big trip from Caribou to Portland on secondary roads, as there were no superhighways in 1958. Decided then and there I wanted to be the person in charge, looking at the doctors, you know. And I kept that up until I went to college. And then I went to college, and I had never been given freedom by my parents. Can't imagine why. I might have been a wild child. And, you know, I didn't do well in college. I got by, but I didn't study. I didn't know how to study. So I said, okay, well, forget that. I'll just major in chemistry. That's easy enough for me. And then 5 years later, after spending, believe it or not, somehow a year and a half in Tennessee, of all places, because I had never been anywhere, at Vanderbilt as a research assistant washing glassware with acid, I thought, oh, wait a minute. All these people that are my friends that are going to medical school, I'm at least as smart as they are. I'm going to medical school. And so I went back to Maine to grad school and majored in chemistry again and got good enough grades to get into medical school.
Where'd you go to medical school?
Tufts in Boston. Yeah, Boston.
Is medical school that hard?
Well, I don't want to remember it, but yes, probably. I didn't ever have any zoology, meaning anatomy. I never took any of that in college, so I had to learn the name of every muscle, nerve, blood vessel from scratch, having no background or basis in it. And when I started medical school, I had a 15-month-old daughter and was divorced. So that was fun.
God, that was the hardest part, wasn't it?
You know, it's a story. It's a whole book, whatever. Yeah. But I found some really good people who took care of her and would help out when I had to study and stuff. So I made it, you know. And fortunately, for some reason, our medical school was pass-fail. I passed. I know that. So, yeah.
Where'd you meet Jimmy?
In Detroit, during my residency.
What was he doing?
He was working in mechanical engineering at the hospital I was at, and he picked me out, you know, pegged me. I'm like, okay, who are you? What do you want? Eventually I said yes to going to the movies with him.
What'd you go see?
I have no idea.
Don't remember?
Are you kidding? I probably slept through it. I would take my poor daughter to the movies so I could sleep. And that's where I saw him one time, was in the movie line, so he knew I liked movies.
Oh.
But I went there to sleep. What can I say?
So she could watch the movie and you'd sleep?
Right.
Because you was going to medical school.
I was, sleep deprived. Well, no, you talked about residency. Residency was way worse than medical school. Yeah, that was, it was worse back then. They've made some rules about residents not making them work 80 hours a week or more than 80 hours a week, because yes, at that time we did work more than 80 hours a week.
They're trying to weed you out then, probably.
Probably it was a weeding out process, but nobody quit, you know. So, you know, a bad day was going to work at 7 in the morning seeing patients in the clinic, going to labor and delivery, working labor and delivery until 7 the next morning, going back to clinic for the day. And when you work labor and delivery in that place where I was, it was busy. You didn't get to sleep. We did deliveries all night long. So, yeah. So when I got home, I mean, I love to eat, but there were times when I went home and crawled into bed and didn't eat. Now, the only reason I could do that and live like that was my sister moved to Detroit with me. If my sister hadn't been there taking care of my child, you know, I don't know what I would have done. I really don't.
You might have ended up being a waitress somewhere.
I might have, and waitresses make great money. So, whatever. I would have gone into IT.
Yeah.
But yeah, whew, those were the days. That was.
What brought you actually to Tennessee, to Cleveland? That's got to be an interesting story.
It's not interesting.
What year?
Did I come here? Okay, 92. So I finished my residency in 89. I met Jimmy 9 months, pregnant 9 months, before I finished my residency. And by then I'd already made a decision about where I was going to practice. So you have to do those things. And my goal, because my family had been so helpful, my sister in particular, and supportive. And up until that point, I really wasn't that fond of my family or bonded to them, but that changed. And they were very supportive. My brother was in Boston with me. He's the other reason I survived medical school in Boston, was my brother. Let me not forget him. And so I decided to go back to Maine, and I had a contract with a practice in Waterville, Maine for 3 years. Well, it was a whenever, year after year after year. And then 6 months into it, I'm saying the time's wrong, but I had to do a review. I wanted to do a review for oral boards, you know, like your son is reviewing for MCATs, and I don't know, I didn't study for those kinds of exams because I didn't know how to. How can you study for MCATs? But for oral boards, where you've got a panel of people firing you with questions, and they did them in a motel room, the Peabody Motel in Chicago. It was the only place they did oral boards in OBGYN at the time. It's way different now, but. So Jimmy and I got it in our, at that time we had a Ford van that had been, I don't know, upgraded. It had everything in it. And we drove it to New Orleans, where the review course was. So that was a fun trip. On the way, we stopped in Cleveland, Tennessee, because his brother and sister-in-law were here, and his brother was ill. And it was important that we stopped and see him. He's still doing well today. And we went on to New Orleans, but Betty, my sister-in-law, worked in the medical field. So as soon as we got to New Orleans, people started calling, recruiting me from Cleveland. And so we came back through here, and I flew home because, meanwhile, the van burned up, and the engine did. And we left it somewhere in Mississippi, and Jimmy had to hang around. Yeah. Now our bane is tires, but back then it was the engine. It was quite amusing. And so I flew home, but yeah, as they really started recruiting me. So oral boards were in November or December, so I flew there, interviewed with a couple people, like Dr. Thurman.
Yeah.
And someone
Bob.
from the hospital.
Yeah, he was a good guy, wasn't he?
Nice man. And then flew on and took the boards and drove back. Jimmy came out to get me because by then the van was fixed. Good God, I haven't thought about these things in years. So as soon as we got back to Maine, I gave a 6-month notice. I was required to give a 6-month notice. So I was there for 3 years.
Did you come here and work under Bob or who?
No. I came here and worked with Diala. And he hired Faye Emerides and I at the same time. And we both came here in June because that's, it's always June, July, as you will find out. And then in February, Diala said, well, I'm offering Faye a contract, but I'm not offering you one. I said, oh, okay. So I went home and told Jimmy, and he's like, go out on your own. I know you can do this. He'd been telling me that for years. I'm like, God, Jimmy, I don't want to run my own practice. I don't want to do that. But I did, and he helped. He helped a lot. He found land. Anyway, and a lot of my patients came with me. I made so much money. Oh, God. Yeah. That was when the insurance companies were actually paying you what you billed. It's way different. That crashed in 3 years later. But at least I was able to build a building. So I built...
During that time, yeah.
Yeah. He found land, and Jimmy is so cute. He went up to, what was his name? The man we bought the land from, adjacent to that property on Ocoee Street. He was an attorney in...
don't tell me.
Okay.
Shepherd.
No. James something. And James and Margaret. Kate, I think.
I think so,
I
yeah.
think it is.
They had the plum tree.
That is so random.
They had a plum tree in the front yard.
Totally random.
It is like
okay, possibly. They had that stone wall covered in ivy.
Yep.
And Jimmy went up to his door and knocked on it and said, well, how about selling me that land? And he said, no, I don't think so. But then he called us back, and they wanted to meet me, and they sold us the land.
It worked out great, didn't it?
It really did, yeah. It was crazy time. I had no time to do anything.
Yeah, you haven't had, you weren't one to go out of town for a week or nothing.
No, I mean, I may have taken a 2-week vacation one time, but I don't remember when.
But it wasn't regular, right?
No. I had too much work.
Short trips? Or
Well, I don't remember, Dee. I worked till 11 every night because I had charts. I had Michelle. Let's not forget Michelle. Michelle Davis, my PA, started working for me shortly after I started my practice. Yeah. And she stayed with me till the bitter end. We're still obviously good friends. Great woman.
So she was with you till you quit 20.
Yeah, now she shepherds me around when I can't drive or need a ride to the airport. And Jimmy's not here because he's already in Florida.
Oh, he's already there?
Well, no, he isn't now. I'm just saying.
So do you think that going in a RV is, to me, it's a little more freedom, isn't it?
Well, I mean, there are pluses and minuses, okay? We took the motorhome. Sure, I think it was in 22, after I retired. We took it, big trip, took it to Maine. And met my brother up there in Moosehead Lake, around there, and visited family and friends, and it was great. And our next leg of the journey was to drive northwest, whatever direction, to Quebec. Well, Quebec was a great city. Now, mind you, it's a 41-foot motorhome, and we're hauling a 16-foot trailer.
Yeah, that's...
With a car on top of it. Jimmy can drive it. I don't. Okay.
That's like 60 feet long.
Really? You did the math.
Man.
Good job. You
Boy,
did
that
maths.
was tough.
Yeah.
Well, you'd have to get really used to driving that,
He
wouldn't
is
you?
good. And he's had issues with his retina. One of his retinas, he can't see out of his left eye. So he does all of that now, one-eyed. I don't know how. He's
was
magical.
He was a good golfer and a good bowler, wasn't
He's still a good golfer. Oh, yeah. So we went to Quebec. Quebec was great. It was great. We saw all the sights, took the car off, saw all the sights. And then we headed out again. And mind you, before we left Cleveland, we had all the tires checked. You know where I'm going with this. Yeah. So
If you hadn't checked them, you wouldn't have had a problem with it, right?
probably not, but yeah, we might have. So we were going to Montreal, and outside of Montreal, a tire, it sounded like an explosion. It blew, a tire blew, a rear tire, fortunately. Now the rear tires are double. There's an inside and out, and the outside one blew. And it tore out all of the wiring behind it and blew the panel off that was, the little covering panel over the tire. And we managed to get it to a parking lot, and then it had to be towed from there. So it took us a year and a half to get it completely fixed. There was a huge
Over one tire.
huge language barrier in Canada. It was coming on winter, I'll say. It was September. And they never drained the water out. So that, of course, gave us issues. We've replaced everything we've replaced. But the people that towed it didn't know what they were doing. They towed it from the back. And it cracked the frame, what do you call that? Plasticky stuff, fiberglass. Yeah, in several places. That all had to be repaired. And it was December until we could finally get them to fix the wiring enough so Jimmy could go up there and drive it back. But to go up there, he had to haul a U-Haul with all the tires in it and get them to put them on, which they did wrong because there was a language barrier and on and on. I mean, it was just...
comical almost.
It truly was, and I think I've probably got it written down somewhere because it was so complicated. It took forever. It was crazy.
But it is better to go in.
Okay, that was your basic question. All right, let's do that again.
Because some people would just fly.
Oh, absolutely. But from here, you fly over everything. You don't get to see what's there. I love sitting in the front seat of that motorhome, which now I have a recliner, a power recliner, because we replaced the front seats, of course. That wasn't because of the tire, but it was just they needed to go. And we have power recliners facing the television, which is 55-inch. So it's not like it's brand new, because it's an 07. It's not. But we get by, And so I like seeing the world from there. But you can't travel in the winter up north. I mean, we're going to go to Maine this summer in it again, but we're not going to Canada.
Well, there's something
going to Canada.
There's something about me that if I drive somewhere, even though it's real far, I feel almost still a connection more than I do if I fly there and land there.
Right.
I mean, just to go through the check-ins and say you drive from here to Atlanta and you're 2.5 hours there. You got to get there 2 hours before, and you wait on the plane and all of that stuff.
Oh, I mean, you don't ever fly out of Atlanta. Oh,
but
my
even
God.
if you went to
I know.
Even if you fly out of Chattanooga, you're 40 minutes to Chattanooga, And
If there's no traffic.
then guess what? You fly to Atlanta. Then you go.
That's
Then you
right.
wait there.
That's
So
true.
it's about six of one and a half a dozen of the other.
Right, yeah. Well, we drive a lot of places. We drove to Las Vegas from here.
Well, that's what I've thought of. I figured that out one time. It's what, 22 hours?
Oh, God, no. Well, first of all, it was right after we got the Tesla. And so you have to stop and charge. So, no.
So you didn't take, did you take
No, we
Or you
took the
just drove
Tesla,
the Tesla?
got a new Tesla, packed it up, and drove to Vegas.
So how
I don't know. I feel like it took 3 days.
well,
I
the
don't
22 hours might be driving time. I guess.
I can tell you.
See if it's
all I have
22.
to do is put in location
Because
to Las Vegas.
I checked it one time. If I'm not mistaken, it was about 6 hours different than just flying.
Okay. Las Vegas, it says 1 day, 10 hours. 1 day
So
plus
30,
10 hours.
34 hours.
But look at all the red things. Those are charging places. Now, that doesn't mean we have to charge at every place, but
Unless you're stupid. You're back. I went to Death Valley last.
oh, did you?
Yeah,
oh,
I think it was
what
January.
month? Yeah, I was
Yeah,
going to say
it was
that's
cooler.
important.
And
yeah.
And I went to there was a 4-way stop and there was nothing there except a Tesla charger.
Oh, you're kidding.
It's out in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, that's fabulous. Huh.
Now they're starting to put I saw where they're going to start putting some like little playgrounds by them. For kids or for dogs.
I get it. There's a lot of them in Florida at Wawa's. Do you know what Wawa is?
Wawa's.
And then they're at Targets.
How long does it take you to charge them if you stop it at one?
It depends where your charge is, what percentage, and how much you charge it. If the lower it is, the faster it'll charge, up to 80%, and then it slows way down. So we don't usually go
So you stop there for 45 minutes or an
or
hour?
less. No,
It's not that big a deal.
no, it's really not. Maybe 30, 35. We watch television
Do you
on Netflix.
Is yours self-driving?
Oh, yes. Do I ever drive myself anywhere anymore?
Will it let you take your hands off the
Oh,
steering
yeah,
wheel?
I sit with my hands on my lap. Yeah, totally. It wasn't like that in the beginning. It was full self-driving beta, so they were
Where you had
still
to have your hands on the...
testing it, periodically.
So if you're coming up to a stop sign and another car's coming, do you kind of go get ready to stop, or are you at the point now where you're just...
No, I haven't fallen asleep yet, but I've come close.
But you don't.
No.
You have no fear of it not stopping.
Okay, I'll tell you when I really pay attention. When I could go out of my neighborhood first thing in the morning and the sun is at that peak of the road, and I can't even see.
Going left, right?
I'm going right.
Okay.
But the sun is on my left, and it's like brilliant.
You can't see nothing.
And I feel like maybe the car was trying to pull out in front of another car. I don't know, but I did slam on my brakes twice. That's happened. But I think probably it wasn't. I was being safe, but that's the only time.
How in the world does it really know that there's a car coming?
There are cameras
bizarre.
everywhere. Well, they've upgraded the software. We literally get a software update about every week, and that's how they perfect full self-driving. It's truly the cat's meow.
Do you have that plaid mode in yours?
Oh, Lord have mercy, no, I can't afford that. I have a Y, my husband has a 3.
Will it really take off? It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I was in one in that ludicrous speed, and it was.
Yeah.
It was. There's just no point in going that fast. There's no point.
Why do you have to accelerate to 60 in 3 0.9 seconds.
It was like a cartoon. You were just there. There's no way that could have any reason. Why would you even want to do that?
It's a man thing, I call it. That's what I say to Jimmy. I don't know if that's true. It's probably being totally sexist, but
You can do that now.
yeah, okay. Yeah, the first time we did that, we were at a stoplight. We were in Florida because that's where we got his, because at the time they had nothing here, and we were in Florida. So we were at a stoplight, and he was in the turning lane to go that way, but we were supposed to go straight. And there was a car here, of course, going straight. And so when the light changed, he hit it. And it was like whiplash.
Yeah.
Jimmy, you've got to warn me if you're going to do that. It was ridiculous. Yeah, of course, we were out in front of them and down the road a piece before the guy was even through the intersection. It was ridiculous.
When you get in other cars, do they just seem stupid now? I mean, when you have to steer and everything.
I don't. I try not to ever have to drive them. Yeah. Yeah.
It won't be long till about everybody will have one of those. I mean, can you imagine that? Would you rather your teenage kid drive in one of those, or?
I don't know. I don't think teenage kids should be driving it.
But if they were driving self-driving, that'd help a lot on people having crashes, I guess.
It would if they kept it in full self-driving and didn't speed. Yeah.
But driving going in an RV or a motor home or whatever you want to call it, some people could have a souped-up van. I mean, or some people could pull a camper.
Yeah. Yeah, on a fifth wheel, sure, or on a truck.
But there's something that's still makes you feel more independent.
Yeah.
Like having a truck versus a car.
Yeah.
You feel like, hey, I could haul something if I needed to.
Yeah, well, there's so many options. I mean, you can stay anywhere you want. And that's an issue, where do you stay now? Because Walmart doesn't let you use their parking lots anymore when you have to spend the night. Because we don't usually drive the motorhome all the way from Florida up. But Cracker Barrel does. Oh, I shouldn't say that. I don't want a lot of people to know.
Well, they got those long parking spots.
Yeah, yep. So, and you can eat breakfast and dinner the night before, so it works. But yeah,
and you also don't have to worry about making reservations and motel reservations.
Right.
And when you go to those RV parks, I'll say I like the people better. It's more of just a different people.
Yeah, it is usually. Now, we're staying at a KOA on Mount Desert Island when we go to Maine. And the first review I read, because I looked it up yesterday or today, I was just kind of curious to make sure I knew exactly where we were staying. And the first review said, "These people were so rude." Cracked me up.
But you never know about those reviews, do you?
No, you really don't.
I mean,
yeah.
I don't write reviews. Do you? Are you a review writer?
No.
If you've been in business for yourself, you don't write reviews, do you?
Okay.
You're too familiar with how.
Yeah, general rule of thumb, Lord.
Have you ever been to Death Valley?
No.
You go past Las Vegas.
Okay, yeah. I think I know where it is.
It is really something to see.
Yeah, I bet.
It's something to see.
Okay, I'll put it on my bucket
But
list.
Las Vegas, when you went there, you couldn't drive that down the street, could you? I know you were in your Tesla.
We drove the Tesla all the way there, yeah.
But you can go I think you can go to Nevada just over the line in about 22 hours. Maybe not all the way into Las Vegas.
Well, that's in an ICE car, internal combustion engine, where you only stop for gas.
Right. And you can go just out inside the line.
Yeah,
but I figured it out. In order to fly somewhere and that takes you about 8 hours, you could about be in Oklahoma just driving. So why would you fly? It's
Jimmy
just-
can drive anywhere in the continental
Jimmy drives
U.S.
fast.
in 8 hours. That's my joke. That was back when we were in internal combustion engine.
I remember one time he told me he used to could drive to Destin in like 5 hours, 5.5 hours.
That's true.
What, is he getting lots of tickets or is he?
He used to. I don't know what happened. He doesn't so much anymore. Certainly not in the Tesla because it controls your speed. He
Oh,
would
it
just,
won't let you go. What help?
oh no, you can go faster, but once he has the speed set, he puts it like I don't know 8 miles over the speed limit,
Yeah,
or he's
some-
got
yeah.
some number, some magic number.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have to watch, because you're not using the accelerator pedal. It's
It's a whole nother
beautiful
world,
thing.
isn't
It's
it?
a beautiful thing. And you come up on traffic and it slows right down. And half of the time I look over to see if he's braking, and he's not. And if there are 3 modes: chill, standard, and hurry, which he keeps it on hurry. You're driving down a 3-lane highway. There's a car in front of you, it sees it slow, it puts its blinker on and goes into the next lane, goes past the car,
Man.
puts its blinker on and comes back. I kid you not. It's a never-ending mystery and coolness to me.
Why would a person fly other than the speed? There's no other reason.
No, I guess if you work and you don't have the time, but
But now you could just do a Zoom meeting
Yeah.
while you're driving.
not really.
I remember one time
Okay, you can't, but I'll tell you why.
I remember I was doing a Zoom meeting one time at and I was in Jasper, Tennessee, and I thought, well, I'll just push that button where they can't see me, but I'm at the meeting, but they just see my name.
Right.
And I stopped and I was eating at a Mexican. Anyway, I was eating the chips, and finally somebody said, Dee, we can see you.
Nice.
I mean, I thought I was just
You were
anonymous.
so cool. Yeah, Mr. Anonymous. Yeah.
That was really something funny.
Yeah.
I never will forget that.
Jimmy said he picked his phone up to do something, and I don't know if it all of a sudden went off full self-drive and said, sorry, Charlie, you can't do that. But I always pick his phone up anyway when he gets texts now.
Somebody told me that they did that a few times, and he was like got reprimanded,
you get expelled.
expelled.
5 warnings and it'll shut off, and you can't use it until you, I don't know, stop and then restart the car. But
That's bizarre.
well, it's got to do
What's their
something
chea-
to punish you.
What's their cheapest car that's self-driving?
Okay, I don't know anymore because right after we bought ours, of course they dropped the price.
Yeah, right after. They said, well, Brenda's bought hers. Let's
Yeah,
drop
let's
it.
go ahead and lower the price. And initially, they automatically tack on full self-driving cost. When we bought it in, it was $15,000. And so we just decided to do a monthly rental for the one car we drove
Sure.
for. Then it came down to $8,000, and now I think it's $6,000, or something. So the price on that has dropped as well. Here's the problem I see: you can't transfer it from one car to another. Like if we had bought it for my car, and we wanted to trade it in for another one, it's not transferable to the new car, as near as I can tell. I researched it all back in the beginning. Maybe they've changed things, but
Seems like that would be good. They'd know, the computer would know your habits or whatever.
on full self-driving,
Yeah.
you mean? Oh, and I wonder if it does learn your habits. Yeah, I don't know that it does,
Yeah.
but yeah. But there's cameras that watch you. And my next experiment is going to be to drive down the road when there's nothing around, full self-drive, and close my eyes and act like I'm sleeping because I'm curious.
It'll probably say, "We know you're acting."
What it did to me once, because I was looking at something, I don't know, it was so, and it gave me the blue line of, I call it the blue line of death, and it was beeping, so I had to put my hands on the wheel, and okay, I was kidding, but that's the one warning, and 5 of those, and it shuts off.
I wonder if they're going to ever have robots checking out your food at the Walmart and stuff. I know they got the self-checkout, but I don't know. Everything's gone crazy.
Why would you ask that question?
Well, I mean, it seems like robots are going to be doing everything.
No, I don't think we're there. I don't know that we'll live to see that. I mean, that's what there's commercials about that with the Cheers guy, whatever his
Oh,
name
yeah.
is.
What's his name? Married Whoopi. Is that right?
I don't know. The guy that was the bartender in
Yeah.
Cheers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who?
Danson.
Yeah, Ted Danson.
Ted Danson, yeah.
Yeah. You know, I don't know. I think that they have a long way to go. But, I mean, some of my favorite movies are sci-fi movies about robots.
Would you know, this is the year that George Jetson was supposed to be born in the show.
No.
Yeah, I think it was last year.
Really?
Not his age, but the year that he was born.
Where did you get that tidbit?
Saw it on the internet. It's got to be true.
So it's got to be true.
Yeah. But that would make sense, wouldn't it? I mean, they're 3D printing stuff.
Oh, yeah, and the whole vid phone. I mean, I FaceTime with my daughter and my niece all the time, and my daughter keeps saying, just think, this used to be, cartoon land.
Yeah, or holograms, you could just have a hologram.
Oh, right, that too. Yeah, it's come a long way. It's fabulous.
It is unbelievable.
I love living now. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, you could have a hologram of somebody. Now, what about that? If they could have these self-driving cars and the phones and all that stuff, knew your habits and knew your personality, could they create your personality and download it into a computer and put it in a robot?
About AI. I have no idea, but I want flying cars. I want that to be the next thing.
Remember that movie about had the flying cars? Who was in that?
You mean the one that flew back into the future?
No, there was another one where he lived in an upstairs bar and he'd get out and get in his car. I can't remember that guy's name. He did The Passion of Christ.
No,
What was his name?
No.
What was his name, Gwen?
Since I have no idea what you're talking about, I can't help you.
He did the Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
I think it was a Mel Gibson movie.
Okay, no.
Before when they was just
No,
acting.
I don't remember a flying car.
But they've had this. They've had the gyroscope. Gyro.
The technology, probably. Yeah. I'm not sure what the obstacles are, government, whatever.
But what if they can download your personality into a robot?
AI. What if they can do that? Yeah. What if?
Yeah. Which
I
they
don't
will be.
I don't know. That has a long way to go, I think.
Because when we get home, we'll have an ad for the George Jetsons. These phones, I think, are listening to us.
I'm sure they are. Yeah, and that's a little spooky.
That is very spooky.
Yeah, it's a lot spooky. Yeah. The whole tracking your ads is so weird.
It's so weird. It's not a coincidence, is it?
Yeah. And okay, every single website you go to on your phone, and you have to go to websites to do shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I said that word.
That's right.
I was trying not to. Want you to accept the cookies.
What are cookies? I don't even know what they are. I thought they were going to send me cookies. I'll take them.
Not cookies. Yeah. It's Them being able to keep track of what you're looking at so that they can do just exactly what we were talking about, I think. But you can have all your cookies erased. You can erase your cookies.
Well, if you say no, will it let you go to the site?
Well,
I've
that's
often
the
wondered
whole
that.
thing. That's the whole thing. Will you get full access to the site? So
Yeah.
has anyone ever tried? Have you tried it? No.
I have never. I just say okay. I don't know what they
whatever.
are.
So do I.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a way you can delete your cache. It's in the cache, CACHE, that thing.
Cachet. What do you think that? It is really bizarre that this future stuff, flying planes, cars.
Flying planes. Planes already fly.
Well, flying
Pretty
flying
sure.
cars.
Right.
And all of that stuff, but the fact that but still, we can't make a baby.
What do you mean we can't make a baby?
Well, we can do I know they can do the
IVF.
IVF and the plastone.
What are you saying? You can start with an egg and a sperm,
Right.
combine
But-
them, make an embryo, implant it into the mother. What are you talking about?
But how do you can't make the sperm?
Oh, you're
they
talking
make
about
that?
the gametes,
Yeah.
the sperm and the egg, from like genetic material.
Yeah.
No, why would we want to?
Well, if we can't,
We can't. So why do you
Well,
want
we
to
can get it-
encourage that? They're gonna come knocking on our doors saying, "What do you know?"
we won't hear them.
No,
That's a good
true.
thing about getting
Yeah.
our age. You can't hear them.
Well, I don't want them to be able to do that.
Well, they can do everything else. So far, it's bizarre, isn't it? I mean, where does it stop?
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the whole AI question. Where does it stop? And how much control do we need to have over that?
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be able to map out your personality and download that into a robot anytime soon.
But if
Go ahead.
But if I could tell you in a situation about how you'd react, couldn't AI tell for sure how you'd act?
No, I don't think so. I think humans are too fickle.
Do you think people are not, this is getting philosophical, but do you think that people are, do you think you are only you to me and you're somebody else to them?
Perception is reality.
Amen.
So,
You don't know how many people don't believe that.
Are you serious?
They don't believe it, but perception is reality.
And your perception of me is your reality of me, and vice versa.
And you're only you to me.
Right.
To somebody else, you're somebody else.
So perception is reality. I love that phrase. Yeah.
Can you change your reality?
Oh, now you're getting weird, Dee.
Yeah. Because I know some people that stay in that.
Alternate reality?
Yeah, they keep changing the perception.
I don't know. I really don't know. But I did hear a phrase that I really loved last week that's not related to this at all. I'm changing the subject because you're getting too weird
Yes.
on me. It's like, and there's a bad word in it, but I'll just use the first initial. Nothing F's you harder than time. Are you beginning to feel that?
Yeah.
You still biking 100
Oh, yeah.
miles a day? Yeah. See, I can't. I had to give up biking when my allergies got bad. You asked me about allergies.
Now I don't feel sore or anything.
So?
I know I get a little bit more tired of an evening. than I used to.
So you bragging now?
I mean, I get more tired around
Yeah.
11:30.
Yeah,
Used to I'd be 1 o'clock. I had to sleep. Now I can go to sleep.
Oh, that's good. That's good. But yeah, so.
But
yeah.
they say that you start aging more in your 60s. That you have a slowdown and then it speeds up when you get 60.
Oh, is that right?
I've heard that.
I don't know.
But the 70s is the new 60s.
Bull.
You never thought that'd be a good.
Oh, God, no. The 70s is the old 70s, okay? Yeah, I'm 72, and yeah, whatever.
You don't act or look 72.
Well, you know, there's genes, Genes, genes that you inherit.
Uh-huh.
I got fabulous skin genes from my mother. But my bones and everything else were not good. Terrible genes, just terrible. But I have to say, I feel better now than I did in my 60s. I had a lot of pain everywhere in my 60s. But I had this autoimmune arthritis that wasn't being treated.
So now it's being treated?
Yeah, I'm a lot better. Yep.
What kind of treatment?
It's a monoclonal antibody. Okay, monoclonal antibodies.
That's the new thing, isn't it?
Oh my good God. I studied about those in college, I think. I don't even know if they were a thing. Prostaglandins were just, I was doing research with prostaglandins. They were so new. And I think monoclonal antibodies were even later. That's how old I am. But it's so amazing. Every day, there's a new commercial about a monoclonal antibody on TV.
Now, a monoclonal antibody,
Okay, let me explain it to you. Is that what you want? No.
yeah, spike adds a spike protein to something, or am I all way off?
No, you're all
right,
way off
okay.
base. Okay. The immune system is incredibly complicated. Something starts it, and then a cascade goes down, out. Each step leading to another, like this. Do I understand much of it? No. My rheumatologist does. Yeah. So he's giving me an interleukin 17, but he said, you know, we could also try this interleukin 24, which is higher up on the cascade. I'm like, oh, really? Okay. And then he'll use words that I don't know. I tried to read an immunology article once. I got 2 sentences into it.
If you can't understand it, I certainly can.
Yeah. Your son should go into that. Definitely.
So, what is monoclonal? Mono is one.
Yeah.
Antibodies
okay.
is...
It attacks one thing. One thing on the immune cascade, the interleukin 17. It attacks it and stops it so that whatever's below that stops.
Like Candy Crush.
Yeah, perfect. What a perfect. Or Tetris.
Yeah, Tetris. That's probably the same thing.
Yeah.
It just stops that flow.
It stops whatever it would cause. Oh my God, that's so true. Yeah.
But if perception is reality, then does it matter?
And he's right back to it. What is your perception of me? No.
Well, I mean, can we keep going through and be like a positive thinkers have positive outcomes, negative thinkers have negative outcomes? Is that perceiving reality through that filter? Does it change things either through luck or happenstance, or you're just noticing it more, or does it matter?
I think it does matter. Jimmy Palmer never has a bad day in his life. Ever. Sometimes it's annoying, but mostly it's good. He has the most positive attitude of anyone I've ever known. thank heavens.
Yeah, when the tire went out, he probably said, "Hey, we was about needing a new tire anyway." That's the kind of way he thinks.
He said, no problem, we'll just pull off here. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay. Yeah. It's Jimmy. Yeah, everything is okay. Everything will be all right.
So maybe perceiving is maybe your
It
perception.
does help what kind of lens I think that you see things through.
And we're not sure how it helps, but it does seem to
But
help.
yeah, I think so, yeah.
But that's no question about that. It seems to
yeah,
be.
I'm pretty sure.
And why that is, we don't know.
No. It's like you make your own reality.
What about RNA? Is that the same thing as monoclonal antibodies, or is that related?
No, not really. No. You've got DNA, which is the double helix of genetic material.
The snake.
And off that comes RNA. And RNA is what the amino acids hook to, I think, from what I remember of biochemistry. The amino acids hook together to make a protein, which then bends and does what it's supposed to. Not related to monoclonals, no.
Now, this guy that
An antibody, you want to know, and you said something about
Yeah.
hooking to a cell. Okay. Let's take a cell. All cells have things sticking off them, right? Like antennae. And then if you want to find something that will stop this receptor from pulling something into the cell, you could probably do that with a monoclonal antibody, which will specifically attach to that receptor. Now, that is simplistic and probably totally wrong, but you don't really know, do you?
No, but I know that the sort of the idea that's something they hadn't had before.
Right, they didn't have it before, and it's very specific for a certain thing. It's a lock and key.
I think I knew this guy that had cancer pretty bad, and I went out to his house, and he was laying on the couch. They had him in the living room, and I hope he's not watching. But he was laying on the couch, and he looked like death warmed over. And I said, they had him in the living room because they couldn't get him to the bedroom. He was just stuck in the living room. And so I said, hey, I just wanted to come by and tell you, all the stuff. And he said, thanks, Dee, I really appreciate it. The next week, he flew somewhere to get these monoclonal antibodies. Antibodies. It was even newer then. This has probably been 6 years ago. Now today, he could run a marathon. It's bizarre. And that's what he had.
So
It was that thing Jimmy Carter had.
you got to wonder if they had a sample of his specific cancer that they could make a monoclonal antibody to.
I think they did because it only works with specific cancers.
Well, and then we're saying, okay, maybe all prostate cancers have a particular thing that a monoclonal. Well, that's what all those drugs are that they're advertising on TV now.
Yeah, but boy, how do you know? You just...
Because some people, the doctors, the people that prescribe them, that understand this whole, I don't understand it.
I do know that guy was about dead, and he's not today.
That's awesome.
So I know that.
That's amazing.
That's where you get your proof.
Yes,
more
right,
than
right,
the
right,
ad.
right.
Did you ever see that
absolutely.
on where Jerry Fox or Jeff Foxworthy said talking about red itchy eyes? He said he went to doctor gave him something for his red itchy eyes, and he read the side effects, and he listed all the things. He said, I believe I'll just stick with the red itchy eyes.
Yeah.
So that was one of those funny things.
Yeah.
I think that medicine's really going to take advances more than computer technology in the next 10 years. And it may be due to computers, but
Yeah, I
believe
was just going to say it's all related. I don't think it's one or the other.
I think they're going to have more. I think that they're going to. I think that my kids will see a lot of people living over 100.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, what do
Yeah.
we attribute that to now? Just the simple, basic stuff that we have?
No. What do you mean? The people that live over 100
Well, I mean,
now?
if you go like to Gatlinburg and walk through those cemeteries, it'll say so many people died in their 30s.
Right.
And we started living longer. Why is that then? I guess we
Antibiotics.
started washing our hands,
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera. Yeah.
Antibiotics. Yeah. I mean, I do think a lot more people are going to live a lot longer, but I don't know. It's complicated. Some of it is educating. People are not eating all the stuff that when you read the label, you can't pronounce half of the crap on it, so you don't eat it. You eat more wholesome foods and stop polluting your body with chemicals. But I think medicines have a role in that. Antibiotics, for instance.
It's a combination of the two things, I
Absolutely, it's not one or the other.
guess. And I think maybe,
Surgery for appendicitis.
yeah, before that, they just died, right?
Yeah, they just died. Yeah.
And prostate cancer, they're saying leave it alone now.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't follow that.
I don't either, thank goodness. But I
Doesn't
do know.
interest me. I don't know. That's an awful thing to say.
But I think, what's the difference between antibiotics and antibiotics and
Monoclonal antibodies
Yeah.
was completely different.
but they both end with biotics.
Yeah. No. Monoclonal antibodies. Oh. Antibiotics attack bacteria, not viruses, just bacteria. They're specific for different types of bacteria. Some of them actually kill the bacteria, and some of them make the bacteria stop growing. Of course, the ones that kill it is probably better, but probably has more side effects. Yeah, everything has side effects. That's just life. Yeah. Yeah, I told you this. I went through cancer last year, and if I did read all the side effects from the drugs they were giving me, the poisons, which killed my cancer, I would never have taken them if I had that philosophy of not taking anything I couldn't.
Well, the doctor must have known that the benefits outweigh the
I
harm.
had a very smart.
That's it.
That's
That
it.
the benefits
Yeah.
outweighing the harm.
Absolutely.
Risk to reward.
Yeah. I had a very smart doctor.
So, yeah, you look fine. You come through that just well.
I am finally getting my energy back. Yeah. I've heard some people, say, well, it'll take you 2 or 3 years. Well, I was getting darn discouraged, It's been a full year. I finished radiation therapy in February. But I'm still anemic. There's something going on with my bone marrow, not giving me enough red blood cells. But I'm doing much better. I got in my pool today. My swim spa. I did. Thank God.
Exercise helps, doesn't it?
Oh,
Isn't
yeah.
it funny how that?
And I keep thinking, because I've exercised my whole life, I'm going to be fine. And that's true. I feel fine.
Well, when I go ride my bike, I get back and I feel, if you could bottle that feeling of getting back.
The endorphins?
Yeah. If you could bottle it,
Yeah.
but you can't.
No.
You got to go out.
No. It's got to come from within.
You got to really get to huffing and puffing. I mean,
I do miss biking.
hey, let's talk about mine and your common friend. One of our best friends that me and you both have not forgotten, but,
No.
we would have killed ourselves if we had not brought him up.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah.
Raymond Woods.
Raymond Woods.
To Raymond.
To Raymond. Gotta love that
You
name.
gotta love him.
Yeah, it was my hour of psychotherapy.
He gave me that cabinet,
Really? Mm-hmm. Wow.
a radio cabinet.
Oh.
You know, I can't go into that coffee shop.
Oh, I haven't been
can't
in.
do it.
Oh
I
my
can't do
God,
it.
no. Oh,
People
no.
don't know, do they?
No.
They don't have a
No,
clue.
they don't have a clue.
They don't have a clue.
Never been in there. Couldn't do it.
I went to him every other Saturday for 15 years. Every other Saturday, maybe every third Saturday. That was my favorite hour of the week. He was so smart, wasn't he?
So smart. I loved him.
I did too.
I really did. Yeah. I can tell you haven't found anyone to really cut your
No,
hair.
that's why I'm wearing that. Boy, he could, you know, and did you ever notice when you were in there, or for people that don't know, he'd charge $50 for a haircut, and you had 1 hour. It was only you was there.
That's
He
it.
would keep you for 50 minutes, and he wanted you to leave before the other customer pulled up, because it was your hour. He did not want you to even have to feel obligated to interacting with anybody in the driveway
Yes.
or the door.
That
It was your hour.
Absolutely true. That is true. That's exactly the way it was.
Did you notice that I never really even noticed him cutting my hair because it was always an engaging conversation?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did he give you homework?
God, I don't remember.
Books to read? He always gave me
Oh, yes.
books to read.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, he'd want me to
Yeah.
come back and
Yeah.
give him a report on what I thought. And
Now, for people who don't know, you could not see his house from the road.
you could not see.
You
couldn't hardly see it from the driveway.
You could barely see the driveway
Mm-hmm.
from Ocoee Street, and it went up and curved out onto 20, whatever.
About 11 feet's all you had to get out.
Scraping your car along the...
Boy, you felt he just really had it, didn't he?
Yeah, miss him.
You know, and you didn't get to go past that door. You know, that was his space.
Oh,
You know that you're allowed here and there,
absolutely.
but not there.
yeah. Did you ever get to go out back?
One time,
Yeah, and see, yeah, once.
saw the bonsais.
Well, he had bonsais in the room, in the
What-
additional room. But no, the garden in the back.
And he had the walk. You know, he had the walk.
Yeah, I got there once, yeah.
He was so smart, wasn't he? You know, he had a major in economics and a minor in sociology, I think,
Oh, no, I had
or
no
vice
idea.
versa. You know, he told me that. I said, Raymond, how did you start cutting hair? He said, well, I went to business college in, I think he said Murfreesboro or Manchester, and then he got a degree to teach, and he had to go to Florida, and then he had to go to haircutting school. And I said, I didn't know you had to do all that to cut hair. He said, no, that's what I had to do. That was my journey. So brilliant, wasn't it? That's what he had to do.
Yes, we all have that. So, yeah. He studied with Paul, some famous hair cutter
Oh, yeah.
who does Mitchell.
Paul Mitchell. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
And then he started selling his shampoo, I think.
yeah.
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 But he was really
I
smart.
still have some of his pasty gel that he used to
Oh, yeah.
do my hair.
Well, he called it product. I remember that.
I don't want to use the rest of my product either.
You know, he would say, he told me one time, I said, Raymond, I'm so busy. He said, Dee, you need to charge more. And I said, Raymond, I can't charge anymore. He said, don't tell me that. I just charged you $50 for a $6 haircut.
That's priceless. Did you start charging more?
No, but I
No.
should have when he
No,
said
I'm sure
to.
you didn't.
But he was really, really smart. I wonder what he would think. Have you been thinking lately? What would he think about this politics time? And I
Oh,
can't
no.
really get my
You know-
finger on what he would have thought.
Here's the thing. I try to ignore it as much as I possibly can because it's so disturbing. So disturbing. Have you noticed? No, don't talk about politics.
Well, do you think Raymond would have talked about it
In the chair?
in the chair? I can't decide.
I don't know. That's an excellent question. I don't know.
He would have come from an angle that me and you've not even thought of.
Probably. Yeah. Yeah.
And we hadn't even thought about what the angle was.
No. So why try?
Yeah. But he would have some wisdom. He helped. I've still got his. I got his voice. He called me about 2 weeks before he died.
Oh, you have a voice now?
Yeah, when he was
Oh.
taking chemo.
Oh, I didn't know that he actually took chemo.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And he didn't take it long because he did not believe in going to the doctor.
No, I know
No.
that's.
Yeah.
I know that. I know.
He called and said, Dee, this is Raymond. He said, I want you to know I just got back from my chemotherapy and I'm listening to some Van and drinking some Cabernet Sauvignon.
Yeah. Raymond loved his wine.
Oh, he loved the
He
wine.
loved
Yeah.
the wine.
Dry, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. I guess that's how I got hooked on dry wine. It must be.
He drunk it like we would. He didn't. I never
He
saw him
drank it
drunk.
like a Frenchman.
Like a Frenchman.
Yeah.
I never saw him drunk. Did you?
Oh, no, never.
Never
Well,
like that.
A little tipsy once. But yeah, I mean, I rarely drink anymore, and I can't drink wine yet, which really irks me.
Did he ever cut your hair in that tuxedo and wear those red shoes?
Oh, yeah. I loved the Christmas tree.
Oh yeah. Oh, did you see under that? Remember he had the nativity scene of Jesus in the box.
Yeah.
Remember that he had but he didn't take it out of the box.
Yeah.
Well, you ever heard of Kendrick Lamar? Well, he's a big rapper right now.
Yeah, I have.
He was on the Super Bowl. Well, in his
yeah.
in his video,
Those you couldn't understand.
in his latest video, I think it's Compton Christmas Parade. In the video, against the wall, is that same
Yes.
box that Raymond
His
had, and it's got a label on it, $40, and that's like something Raymond would do. Just to provoke a question.
True. Right.
Not
right,
to say
right.
anything, just to provoke the.
To provoke conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was special, priceless, truly.
Where do we go now? I don't know. Do you?
No. I'm still at a point where the last time I had my haircut, I had it shaved at a 3 because it was still really short. And I want to keep it short like this, but I think I need something done to it because it looks kind of ratty right now. But I'm keeping it short because this is liberating. Truly liberating.
Well, he always cut your hair short, but he'd spike
yeah.
spike it up a little bit.
Absolutely. I had a lot more hair. Yeah, definitely.
He had me a rat tail.
Yes, he did.
Remember that?
Oh, yes, yeah. Yeah, I needed product.
He gave you a rat tail too, didn't he? One time.
No. No, he never did. I don't think so. But I did need product to make my hair stand up. Now I need it just to keep it flat.
You know, his wife, she wasn't around there, was she? She stayed in the back.
She was cooking that stuff that smelled so good.
Well, that's how I knew that the plum trees, because that lawyer would take Raymond he would have them every so often when they were ripe, because he would bring them over and give them to Raymond. That's how I knew he had that tree in the yard.
The lawyer that was next door.
The lawyer that was next door.
James
He would bring them to Raymond.
He would?
That's how I knew.
Oh.
Yeah.
So was it his tree or Raymond's tree?
It was his tree.
It was James
Yeah.
Kate's tree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Raymond, I really miss him.
Yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
one else like him. If you find anybody like him,
I'll
me
let you know.
Because I need that therapy.
I don't
Larry
think you're
would,
going to find him here.
Larry would say, I'm going to see my psychiatrist and get a haircut.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Him and Larry were good friends, and
Yeah.
he would always criticize Larry a little bit because that was just their friendship.
Yeah.
And one day I said, Raymond, Larry's probably your biggest fan. And he just lit up. He just really liked that,
Yeah.
So he told me that when he was in Florida, he was coming out of Kroger and he saw it. And he said when he saw it, he sold his car and drove back to Cleveland. And instead of deciding what work he wanted to do, he decided the life he wanted to live and decided what profession fit that rather than what
Lifestyle to fit his profession. Oh.
And that's how he started cutting hair.
That's sane.
And
That's
I
awesome.
asked him, I said, what'd you see? And he said, well, I'm not telling you, but when you see it, you'll know it.
Yeah.
Do you think you saw it when you retired? Do you think you saw it, I'm out of here?
I don't know. I can't say that I had an epiphany. It was, I am so done. But I don't know what the it could have been. But I don't know.
I don't know either. But
No.
I think it was maybe that we need to live our lives the way we want to and enjoy it however we want to.
Yeah. Which
And-
is what I'm doing now. Definitely. But way late.
Well, I asked him one time, I said, Raymond, if you're in a 8x10 cell in jail, you can't live your life the way you want to. And some people are in their own self-prisons. And you can't say to that prisoner, oh, go out and do what you want to, because he can't. Neither can the guy that's in his own self-prison.
True. No, you can't make people change. You can't.
Maybe they can't.
Are you doing what you want to do right now? Do you still enjoy what
No,
you're
I want
doing?
to do what you're getting ready to do.
I'm
Get
already,
in the car and drive.
Uh-huh.
And just drive.
Let the car drive, yeah.
I mean, just drive to Las Vegas or
Anywhere.
Nevada or
Yeah.
Maine and see some things and drink some coffee.
Why don't you?
Well, because I'm in my own self-prison.
Yeah, you
That was
are.
my argument with Raymond.
Yeah. Take your bike with you. You have a bike rack, I presume. Yeah.
Yeah.
Slap that bike on there. Yeah.
But somebody would call me and say, hey, we've got this deck that we'd like fixed.
I'm not
But-
going to say that. My work's done here.
But when you quit, you were able to, did it take some adjustment mentally?
No, Dee. The switch turned off like a light switch.
Maybe you did see it.
Okay, maybe I did. I saw the sun. I can't tell you how happy I am to be done. I mean, even stopping delivering babies, which was incredibly stressful. Incredibly.
Yeah, everybody's happy, and you're trying to do.
You're trying to keep a baby and a mother alive.
And the parent and the daddy happy, or whatever.
No, it's about the baby and the mother, and to keep them both happy and alive. And it can go to hell in a handbasket, really and truly, like that. I can't snap my fingers anymore, but yeah, it can. And so it's like always being on the edge of your seat. What's going to happen? What can happen? What can happen? You know, people can start bleeding to death all of a sudden. So even though I had stopped delivering babies, I still had the responsibility of the whole practice that I was running. Big practice.
What's the thing you hated the most?
Hated the most?
I mean, just gives you nightmares. Hated it.
Doing obstetrics still gives me nightmares. I have PTSD.
What'd you call it?
OB. I have PTSD from delivering babies.
Oh, from being in the moment in that.
Yep, I have PTSD. That's why I don't talk about it.
Everybody in the room's happy, and you're trying to keep the war stopped. I can see that.
So many things can go wrong. And they do. I don't know how Dr. Chambers did it for so many years and stayed sane. I don't feel like I'm sane, you know?
You may be like me, you have a little OCD, and that's.
I have a tiny bit of OCD, yeah. No, I don't even want everything to be perfect. I just want to not have an emergency.
Yeah, that's it.
No emergencies today, please. It's crazy.
So what do you have any ideas of going like long trips? I mean, getting the.
Where are we going next?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're going to Maine in July. We're taking the motorhome, like I said, with the trailer, hauling the trailer all the way.
Take your time, no rush, no schedule.
No, we'll probably go to northeastern Pennsylvania, and then to New Jersey, New York, and then up to Maine, 2 places in Maine, and then back to Tennessee, I don't know, via Detroit maybe. Jimmy has kids in Detroit.
So you'll be gone how long?
A month, I think.
Is he related to Jimmy Palmer? There's another Palmer here.
Balmer, there's a Balmer.
No, Palmer.
The other Jimmy Palmer is his nephew.
Yeah, that lives out in Birchwood, or.
I don't know where he lives. Jimmy knows where everybody lives. Do I know where anybody lives?
He used to work at Captain D's.
Yes, that's him.
Yeah,
that's his nephew.
I built his house.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And he had a brother.
Yeah. Oh, please don't make me name all the people.
No, I
in the
can't
family.
think of his name. He was a good guy. I always liked him.
Way too confusing.
I always liked his brother.
Because there are Betty's kids and Harold's kids.
Harold, that was it. Harold.
Harold. Well, okay, and Harold is also his father.
Okay, well, I was friends with Harold and Jimmy.
Yeah.
Harold was a character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Harold is also Jimmy's brother.
Yeah.
I mean, the older Harold.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, Harold and Jimmy.
So when you drive, you watch TV or you just listen to radio?
No, you can't watch it while you drive.
So you listen to the radio?
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes we listen to audiobooks, but sometimes I play Candy Crush or some other
Listen to
game.
some Van Morrison.
Yes.
Did Raymond ever give you a playlist of songs?
No.
He gave me a playlist of songs one time.
That's great. That's awesome.
Anything else going on?
So many things.
I'm glad that you're retired and you've got
Thank you.
You can relax and
Thank
You've
you.
been in Cleveland for a long time. You're legendary. You've
I wouldn't say that.
so much respect for you and for everything
Thank
you've
you.
done, and you ought to really be proud.
I'm just not.
But you should be.
No. I don't know. What's pride? No. I'm just happy I'm done. That's all. I feel badly about the way it ended for my patients. I do.
I don't think you should
But
feel
then
bad about
I
that.
look at the way other doctors have ended their practices, and so many of them have done the same thing.
How else can you do it? I don't know how you could.
Without spending
You can't
$20,000 or
wait.
$30,000 to send out notices. It's,
I don't think you should feel bad about that at all. I don't know how else you
it's
can
who I
end it.
am.
Well, that's true, and you wouldn't have those customers if you weren't that way, and you wouldn't feel bad if you weren't that
Okay,
way.
fair
But
enough.
at the same time, you just can't worry about that because you couldn't. You would have to have not done anything different. You would have literally had to have waited for every patient to die before you could quit. That's not practical, and neither is it practical to do anything else. You said you had a 3 months winding down.
Whatever. But thank you for trying.
Yeah. No, I'm serious. that makes all the sense. You can't.
I don't let it weigh me down anymore.
Raymond would have said you did the right thing, that you did it gracefully. He
Well,
would have
thank
said,
you.
Don't you think he would have said that was gracefully?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. He'd have said,
Good for you.
he'd have said just not showing up one morning might have been different, but you had you unwound it. You weren't not answering the phone. You're not hiding.
No, not hiding. No, I felt like I was hiding last year. Last year was hard. I'm better.
Do you think the stress gave you any cancer?
Oh, God, yes. Gave me autoimmune arthritis, cancer, so many other things, heart disease, whatever.
Do you think it's stress related?
Oh, yes.
Is it because the body's under some kind of a
constant
tension?
cortisol?
Cortisol's
endorphins.
Cortisol's
Well,
the
then
opposite.
there's cortisol, right?
This is
Yes.
cortisol.
Yes.
Basically.
Yeah. Like you have something there, but
Yeah.
whatever. Yes,
but you're pretty
I'm
sure-
100% sure. Not pretty sure. I know that, especially the autoimmune stuff that I have, is from stress. Yeah. And I didn't treat it for so long, the arthritis. God help me, why didn't I treat it? Because now I've got 2 knees, 1 hip. I need 2 shoulders, but I can't have them now, but whatever.
Maybe all of that will get better as the stress relieves.
I was hoping, but this is 25. It's been almost 3 years, and I still need the monoclonal antibody. I didn't take it while I was on chemo because I was getting steroids when I got chemo. I love steroids because they make everything not hurt.
When I get a cold or a flu, I always ask for that. If
Yeah.
the doctor won't give it to me, I don't go back to him.
Right, exactly. And I used to think it was stupid to give people with a cold steroids. I really did. And I hate that I felt that way because I see it now.
That it helps.
Yes, exactly.
Well, I think that your body can fight 1 shot of steroids.
Oh,
You know what I'm
I
saying?
don't think it's going to make you deteriorate.
Yeah.
I mean, steroids have their risks.
If
There's
you took
no
them every day.
question.
But when you're sick, you need them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody, when you're sick, when you need a boost, get a boost.
Yeah. Exactly.
But Raymond would say, don't worry about it and go home and eat a good tomato. He loved fresh tomatoes.
Oh, what a pill he was. Yeah, I miss him.
Well, Brenda,
How long do we do this?
we did this for a while. Hey,
Is there a limit?
to Raymond
To Raymond.
Woods, one of the smartest people we've ever known.
Yeah, agreed. miss him.